All right, in this next demonstration here, we're going to talk about Active Directory installation. Notice how I have my SCVMM here on my first tab. I've got my servers A, B, C, Core, and 7 all tabbed out here. And I want to focus in on server B, and we want to install Active Directory services on that. So what we're going to do is click on Start, and then type DC Promo, stands for Domain Controller Promotion. Now we could also add this as a role, but I'm just used to doing it, and it's something good to know as a network administrator. So we're going to type DC Promo and say Enter, and that's going to begin our Active Directory installation wizard screen. Give that just a moment to get going here. All right, now we got the Welcome to the Active Directory Domain Services Installation Wizard. I'm going to go ahead and say Next. Next again. And we are going to create a new domain in a new forest. So nothing is here, so this is going to be brand new. So we'll say Next. It's going to ask us for the FQDN. We're going to specify your last name. Mine's, of course, u1.local. And say Next. It's going to check whether the new forest name is already in use. Alright, it's now going to ask us for the forest functional level. We're going to leave it the default and say Next. The domain functional level, we'll leave it the default and say Next. It's going to examine the DNS configuration. Now remember, Active Directory is heavily reliant upon DNS, and pretty much Active Directory cannot function without DNS because it needs to have that name resolution. And so notice that it has the checkbox for a DNS server. We want to leave that checked and say Next, so we can get that name resolution and also have those SRV records to locate services throughout our Active Directory infrastructure. All right, we're going to say yes to this. For the delegation for the DNS server cannot be created. Do you want to continue? That's okay, because again, we are installing a DNS service, so we will be authoritative for the domain u1.local. Yes, we want to continue. We're going to leave the default for the location for the database, log files, and sysvol. It's going to ask us for our DSRM, or Directory Services Restore Mode password. This is the event that Active Directory is offline and you need to get in to do some maintenance. You will utilize this password and not your normal administrator password. We'll say Next. Here is a summarization screen to make sure that everything is looking right the way that you want it. And then after that's done, go ahead and say Next. This might be a good checkbox to check to reboot on completion. I know some folks have the mentality of they don't want it to automatically reboot. They want to see a final summarization screen before they manually reboot it. It's really just a personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and say reboot on completion checkbox, and that'll do it. So pretty much after this is done installing, it'll take maybe a few minutes. It'll reboot, and please be patient. I want to stress, please be patient when this machine is rebooting. You have just done something very major. You've taken this machine from a basic standalone server to making it a domain controller, so it may take a few minutes for it to come up. Don't stop your virtual machine. Don't try to reboot anything. Just be patient and let it come up.